About a year ago, the Federal Aviation Administration implemented its rules for pilots of unmanned aircraft systems. As we've heard in previous interviews with those using drones, researchers aren't entirely sure yet how the technology can all be practically used on agricultural operations. We do know scientists are using them to monitor livestock, find herbicide-resistant weeds, and manage water and nitrogen. Last week at the Eastern Nebraska Research and Extension Center, we saw Nebraska Extension researchers, including Woldt, using a drone to learn about a different precision purpose, possibly managing crop diseases or insects from the air.
It is a drone spray aircraft. It's an aerial sprayer, and it's a very new technology. A lot of unmanned aircraft work so far has been geared towards imagery and collecting imaging data and sensing of the crops and such. But now we're moving into interacting with the crops in an active way, and this is geared towards crop protection systems.
What do you hope is the practical use of this?
Well, where we're headed is first we're going to do research on the technology itself. It's a very new aircraft. The way that it flies, the application rate, the application efficiency is going to be key in terms of determining where we go with it. Beyond that, it'll be oriented towards crop protection and the specialists that work in that area.
What are sort of the known unknowns, the things that you're very aware you aren't sure of right now with this device?
Well, this is new enough, and we're just getting started with it, that we know that we don't know very much. And the manufacturer is not able to provide very much information because it's so new. What we want to learn is really one of the key things is application efficiency, but that we start looking at the aircraft itself, the aerodynamics of the aircraft, the altitude that we fly, the airspeed that we're flying, the types of nozzles that we're working with. There's the pressure on the system, where we crank up the pressure on the nozzles. There's a lot of variables that we'll be looking at and working through from a research point of view.
So just for a broad overview, would these be spot applications on either insects or diseases that wouldn't be widespread throughout the field?
Yeah, I think that's what we're looking at, is more towards a very precise application for crop protection, whether it's a very early detection of stress or edges or patches, something along that line.
What other things are you doing when it comes to drone work and research on trying to find new uses for them?
Well, we've got a quite active research program now. We're working on wetland characterization for determining the vegetation status, the wildlife status of wetlands, especially during the fall migratory season and the spring migratory season. We're also working on a biosecurity project for animal agriculture, also a variable rate irrigation project where we want to inform variable rate systems with unmanned aircraft. And then kind of a unique one is a more direct kind of interaction with the environment where we're sampling water quality with unmanned aircraft.
How much more have you learned since these became widespread or more widespread?
Well, we've been at it about 5 years now in terms of research and development, and we have learned a lot in these last 5 years. The industry continues to evolve rapidly, though. It's just constantly moving, and we're constantly trying to keep up with it.
What do you hear from producers or those in the agribusiness industry that they have learned or find difficult to use about drones?
Well, what I'm hearing is a lot of interest in unmanned aircraft and what they can do for agriculture. There's a fair amount of uncertainty about rules and regulations, so a lot of what I do in my extension work is helping to inform about rules and regulations and how to fly legally. For example, the aerial application technology here, this spray aircraft, requires some additional certifications to be able to use it legally. And so we're working on that and trying to help producers and consultants understand more about that.